and welcome back to Great Military Feats, the best place to relive history's greatest battles. In today's video, we are diving deep into William of Normandy's triumph at the Battle of Hastings in 1066. Before we get into that, though, I'd like to ask you all to like and subscribe if you enjoy the video and comment on any battles you would like to see us cover in the future. But without further ado, let's get into the important stuff. First things first. As always, we need to know the strategic context behind today's battle. In January 1066, King Edward of England passes away, designating his chief advisor, Harold Godwinson, as the rightful successor to the throne just before his demise. At least two contenders dispute Harold's rise to power and initiate offensive campaigns to seize it. Viking king Harold of Norway lands a military force near the Humber River in the northeast in September 1066. Triumphing over two English earls at the Battle of Fulford Gate, Harold swiftly marches north, catching the Norwegian army off guard and slaying Harold at the Battle of Stamford Bridge. 2 days following this conflict, Duke William of Normandy lands unchallenged near Hastings in the south and secures a stronghold on the peninsula. Harold rapidly marches south with his army to confront William and dispatches his fleet into the English Channel to cut off any reinforcement for the Norman army. After a brief rest in London and the assembly of further furred militia, Harold moves south to camp on advantageous defensive terrain at Caldbeck Hill, obstructing William's progress out of the peninsula. With his army trapped and minimal chances of resupply, William has no alternative but to launch an attack on the English army. Again, as always, the stakes are high for this battle and are as follows. An English victory would end the contestation of Harold's ascension to the throne, at least from its active foreign opposition. A Norman victory would end Harold's brief reign as King of England. The English army had 7,000 heavy infantry, which was slightly outnumbered by the Normans' 4,000 heavy infantry, 1,500 bowmen, and 2,000 knights. Now let's get into the battle. The battlefield consists of marshy ground between two major elevated features. Caldbeck Hill dominates the north, with the gradually sloping south face of Senlac Ridge, between 700 to 1,000 m across. Its east and west sides are much steeper and feature marshy woods, making any attack impractical. Caldbeck Hill features a raised plateau and isthmus to the north. Telham Hill dominates the south. Between the two high features, the marshy ground is bisected by Ashen Brook. Harold deploys his army in a shield wall 10 men deep across Senlac Ridge. Harold places his best troops, his Huscarl axemen, in the front ranks. Harold plans to defend the ridge and force the Normans to exhaust themselves in futile attacks against the English defensive line. William deploys his army in 3 divisions, one for each contingent of troops. Each division features archers at the front, followed by infantry and knights. William plans to disrupt the English formation with his archers, attack with infantry to create gaps, and then punch through those gaps with his knights. William sends his archers forward to fire on the English line, but their fire is ineffective due to the flat angle of fire against the shield wall. William nonetheless sends his infantry to pass through the archers up the slope, and against the steady shield wall, the attack has little effect. The Norman infantry are unable to create any gaps in the English shield wall despite fierce combat. William sends his knights up the slope to charge the already engaged English infantry, but they also fail to penetrate the shield wall. Unable to break the English shield wall, the Norman knights begin to fall back to regroup so that they can charge again. The Breton infantry on the Norman left misinterpreted this as a rout and begin to flee. Some English infantry break formation to pursue. Seeing the rout of their left, the rest of William's infantry withdraw back down the slope. In the chaos of the retreat, a rumor of William's death quickly spreads throughout the Norman ranks. William quickly puts down this rumor by removing his helmet in full view of his troops. William then orders the Norman knights from the center to hit the pursuing English infantry in flank. The Norman counterattack forces the English infantry to a small hillock where they are destroyed. With the English shield wall slightly diminished from casualties, William launches another full-scale attack similar to the first. The archers first fire into the English ranks ineffectually, then allow the infantry to pass through to attack, followed by the knights. The attack once again fails to penetrate the English shield wall, and the Normans retreat back off the ridge. With losses mounting disproportionately on the Norman side, and the English shield wall maintaining its strength and cohesion on Senlac Ridge, William rethinks his plan of attack. William seeks to recreate the earlier accidental success of his left through the use of feigned retreats. William orders just his knights to charge the English line at various points, and then retreat to lure the English off the ridge. The first feigned retreat fails, but the second results in some English infantry pursuing off the ridge. The knights turn about to charge and destroy the English infantry in the open. With the English ranks significantly depleted, Harold must reorganize his shield wall into a shorter, thinner line as the Normans attack yet again. This time, William attacks with his infantry and cavalry at the same time, and orders his archers to fire at a high-angled trajectory into the English rear ranks, which increases their effectiveness. The English shield wall begins to break as Norman infantry seize a foothold on the flanks and knights begin to penetrate the line. Harold is hit by an arrow and killed in the melee, causing a rout soon after. The Norman knights briefly pursue, but William ends the pursuit when the knights begin to stumble and fall on the uneven ground to the north. The English rallied at London, led by the two earls defeated at Fulford Gate, which had not followed Harold south. William defeated them and was crowned King of England in December 1066. William spent the next 5 years quelling rebellions and consolidating his authority. William invaded and subdued Scotland in 1072, put down the revolt of the Earls in 1075, and otherwise spent his years of rule campaigning in Normandy or defeating further rebellions and raids until his death in 1087. William's death resulted in another Ascension War, this time between his sons. William's son Henry defeated his brother Robert at the Battle of Tichenbray in 1106 and was crowned King Henry I of England. That's it for today, folks. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed today's video, and we will see you next time for another epic battle of history.